And I'm live. All right, let's turn this down a little bit. It's cold outside, but it's hot in my room because the way the sun shines into my room. So I took my second layer of my shirt off, and I'm just wearing my sports top. But no one cares about that. Okay. I'm just looking at a message. I'm going to be doing my makeup as I talk about how to vet a guy to see if he is marriage material and ready for marriage. Well, slow down, Savannah. We're going to see if he is marriage material first. And then you'll figure out in time, okay, if he's ready for marriage. That might be a different video. I might have to identify certain things to look for to see if he's ready for marriage. Like he will tell you, actually. The guy usually will tell you. But there are guys who date so they can get laid, and there are guys who date for marriage. So I feel like many people know that. But the reason why I'm making this video is because I knew nothing about how to date, or even was not even on my radar that it wasn't on my radar to think the way a man I didn't even know men thought a certain type of way. Yeah. I didn't understand to what level, to how severely different men think, okay? So they are a little bit more, they can be, not all of them, based off environment, can be a little bit more predatory-ish acting. But I don't want to demonize men. That's not what I'm about. I don't do that because I actually really enjoy men and what they bring into the world, like their contributing factor, okay? Because I know there's a lot of people out here that will say like, oh, I hate men, and I do not. Now, I understand that there's boys, there's guys, and there's men, okay? I only like to associate with men, and with boys, you know, they're a child, okay? There are guys out here who may think that they are a man, but they're not, okay? And I may refer to that high star, I may refer to that guy as a male, okay? Or like just, yeah, that's all I say about that. I might say, if I'm saying male or guy, I'm not talking about a man, okay? And I'll try to be careful with how I choose my words, okay? But if I'm saying a man, I'm thinking of a man who is, you know, no one's 100% perfect, okay? Okay, but like a good percentage of them is a healthy man. They have a healthy line of thinking, and they have a healthy idea of how, or a healthy way of moving, and how they treat a woman. Hello. Thank you. Okay, so this video is mostly catered for women who have come out of a high controlled group, aka a cult, or a very strict environment is what I'll say. Okay, so there's a two-step process when it comes to vetting, and before I go into that, I'm going to start off in saying that keep in mind that a guy may keep up an act or turn into a transformer, okay? Turn into someone who he's not really, okay? And will lie and finesse for up to 2 years before he starts slipping, where you're able to notice, okay? And so I have been in situations where I was dating someone, and I'm teaching this from experience. I'm very smart, okay? There's a difference between being smart and wise, okay? Wise is where you learn from other people, okay? I'm mostly smart and somewhat wise. I'll say that, just being transparent. But a guy will keep up a whole facade, a whole act, be a transformer or a freaking liar in disguise, robots in disguise, okay? someone fake, not real, for up to 2 years before like you start thinking like, he present himself this way, but he's really not. Okay. A guy will keep a whole act up. So keep that in mind. And then secondly, you also need to, as a woman, okay, I'm speaking to a woman in the feminine form, or anybody in the feminine energy, I should say, excuse me, not necessarily form, the feminine energy. You must have self-awareness and know like what are your things that you may overlook. Okay, there are certain qualities about a guy who has something that a woman can be attracted to, and they may overlook or not notice, I should say, these red flags. I'm gonna try to stop overcorrecting myself and over explaining, okay? Because I want to be able to get through this. So these guys will leave with helpful, useful information. So, the first thing, like the first example I could think of when I say that, okay, know like what you are highly attracted to when it comes to a guy that you're dealing with, because each attraction type level is going to be a little bit different with each guy. Like one might be physically fit, and because of his body and his physique and his height, you might be like, okay, I need to stick with him because he has those things and we look good together and he looks good, that kind of thing. And that also too, what I have found out is a very masculine way of thinking. In this financial, in my mind, this is how I feel. Okay. It's a masculine way of thinking because of how this economy is and how the system is set up. This patriarchal system is set up. Women don't get to choose the guy so much based off their appearance. Okay. He can look like, average or below average when it comes to like the beauty standards. Okay. But he's high value if he's able to provide for you and treat you well, right? That's what we're looking for. When it comes to a guy, they're more ran off of physical appearance, whereas women, not so much. Yes, but not so much. Especially when women are younger, yeah, they like are thinking like, okay, does he look really good? I want someone that looks good. Okay, but as you get older, like I'm 36, I'm about to be 37, that kind of has to go out the window. And slim picking. Also, too, I would say if you're looking for a highly attractive guy, a lot of them know that they're attractive and they play on that. They know that they can get a lot of women and they like that. And you don't really, women tend to feel insecure, you know, with a guy who's always entertaining and flirting with other women. So, like, no, I don't suggest getting with a very attractive guy. Now, you can get with an attractive guy and you just don't know he's attractive, because there's many of those, okay? There are many of those guys out there. They don't know they're attractive, okay? So there's that. So you need to be aware of like what thing is like, oh, he's got this car, oh, he's got this house, or he makes this much money, or he looks this good, he has this height. Like what things, okay, it may not be several things, it might be one or two things to make you see that like, okay, I might look over some red flags because of these things that I really like about this guy, or that I'm really attracted to about this guy, okay? So you have to be self-aware in that, okay? Then you also need to have, before you even date or anything, make sure like, you feel good about yourself, like you're healed, you're not overly insecure. There's insecurities and there's overly insecure. You don't want to be insecure, okay? And you don't want to be always on the type of time of like telling your tragic story all the time, whether it be like on a date or with a friend, or every time you have a conversation, that vomits up, okay? If you got that managed, then you should be good. with dating, and you want to make sure that you're able to, you're safe in a stable, somewhat stable environment. Okay. Um, Thirdly, I would like to say that kissing on the first date is a hell no. The fuck? And I don't understand that. I think that is something that has been conditioned in people's minds when it comes to these movies and all that little different stuff. No. Okay, no kissing on the first date. Now, the only time is like when you sense that the guy is really feeling you and you're really feeling him, and it's just like from beginning to end through the interaction where it's like, oh my gosh, connectivity, connectivity, connectivity. You guys are just, and like it's never happened to me, but I have seen it happen. And in that scenario, okay, like, yeah, I can understand like there might be a kiss on the first date, but like that is the exception, not the rule. Okay? we're sticking to the rules here, not the exceptions, not these rare situations that may happen. Okay, another thing I wanted to say is that you need to learn how to play damsel in distress. Okay, I used this example on other platforms before, and an example of that would be like, okay, you're in the grocery store and you say something like, I really like spicy food, but I always get jalapenos. Jalapenos are not spicy enough for me. I need a spicy pepper. Can you suggest one? And like, there's a guy who's in the vicinity of that area, okay? And, you need help with something. I need to find a spicier pepper. Like, jalapenos are not spicy enough. And you see this guy, okay, this could be someone you're attracted to or not attracted to, because this is practice. You need to practice being a damsel in distress, okay? That helps bring about your feminine energy and you learning to accept help, okay? And then, it leaves him like open to say like, okay, she's approachable. He's gonna be thinking that in her back of her mind, she's approachable, you know, she's speaking to me. Oh my gosh. He may say, oh, it's a good question. I don't know. Or just, I don't know. Or, oh, you know what? Serrano peppers are a lot spicier than jalapeno peppers. So maybe try serrano peppers. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, how many more notches more spicy? And he might be like two notches more spicy, okay? And you're like, oh, thanks, good looking out, right? And you grab the peppers, and you put it, be all confident, or be all like, and then roll off with your cart. Be like, oh, thank you, good looking out, that kind of thing, or whatever natural response that you may have. That's an example of being a damsel in distress, okay? It didn't put him out. I'm not talking about passing out in the parking lot. No, okay? Lexi, my girl, you will be posting this live later onto your YouTube. Possibly. I don't know. I'm trying this out. Why you ask that question now? Okay. Oh, is it because the way I'm dressed? I wonder if I would get in trouble for it. I'm just hot. I don't like being hot. I don't know. Maybe because I'm not being straightforward, direct to the point. Okay, so the second thing is that was like the third or fourth thing. I don't know. I don't know what number I'm at now. But another thing you need to know, okay, like say you get invited on a date. So he asks you on a date, okay? You need to know his first and last name. Girl, overthinking. I'm just asking. Oh, okay, cool. Know their first and last name. Okay, that way you can do like a Google search, or if you're in the financial position too, you can do a background check on them and see what's up. Also too, I would say that if you do see something come up on their criminal background that's like, okay, where they are limited to the area that they live in. I'm choosing my words carefully here. Okay. I would not automatically think that it's something that they did highly inappropriate when it comes to a person. If it looks like if it sounds like something like, I'm trying to choose my words carefully. If it sounds like something like they did something to a young individual, right? That's not good. And you can get in trouble for that, right? If that is the case, I would not necessarily automatically assume the worst. Okay, I know that's a very taboo subject, and there's a side that's ugly where it's profitable. Okay, and there's sides that's ugly that's actually a thing. Okay, you need to be able to determine which one it is. If it's actually something that it's a thing that they did and they're about that or whatever, or did they like pee up against the fence and they got caught in public, being dumb, not realizing that that would be you could catch a charge, or like were they on the beach not fully dressed the way they were supposed to be, right? Okay, that kind of thing. Because anyway, all right. So when it comes to the guy and seeing if he is provider, right? Because there's two aspects that you want to look at: him as a person and how he is, and then see if he is a good provider. Okay. So you want to find out his line of work, and then if you don't know like his line of work, like discreetly or at a separate time, look up the salary for that line of work. Okay. So is he able to financially provide for himself, you, and possible other individuals like children, or maybe you have older parents. If they have older parents, like you got to think like long term, especially if you are past 27 ish age, okay? Which I know a lot of women coming out of a high controlled religion, a high controlled group, are in that situation. Some women are 40 who've never been kissed, never been married, never been touched intimately. So that is a thing, unfortunately. And then also too, not just like, maybe I need to turn this down. Is it distracting? Find out like if they enjoy, maybe not enjoy, but if they can tolerate their line of work. Because if they hate it and you sense that they hate it, then you don't really want to get yourself too involved unless he's actively doing things to change his line of work, because it is miserable living with somebody who does not like their line of work. It is miserable. Okay, that if they're not doing something to change it. Okay. Secondly, I would be finding out, okay, you want to do this elegantly, and I'll try to come up with examples as I go through this. But how do they feel about kids, the kids that they have in their life? Like, they have any nieces or nephews or kids of their own already? Did they have any animals? And like, even if they don't, if say they have no kids, say they don't have any nieces or nephews, they don't have any animals, they don't have any plants, like, see how they treat their things. Okay. So you want to see how they feel about, and that's really actually more about like, also like how they are as a person, but you got to think about like the providing aspect. Like, can they financially provide for these things, and how do they feel about financially providing for a dog, a cat, if they're into that, plants, are they cool with spending, I don't know, a couple $100 to have plants throughout the house or whatever? Or, how do they feel about spending money on things that need to be cared for? There we go. Okay. Thirdly, you need to be looking to see if they're a provider. Okay. Do they have a reliable car? Okay. It doesn't have to be like, I don't know, some BMW, whatever type of car. It just needs to be like a reliable one. And are they, negligent with keeping up with that car? How well do they clean that car? Like, do they have a reliable car, and do they keep up with it financially? Okay. And then also to I wrote down what type of home they have. Okay. And what side of town. Okay. Do they have an apartment? Do they have a house? Do they live in the basement of someone's house? Do they live with their family? And I wouldn't automatically just be like, oh, because he lives with his, parents still in the basement, I would not automatically be like, oh, I can't, that's a deal breaker. Okay. but these are just things that you want to see. But like, you want to see like, okay, well, does he financially help provide for that household if he is living, you know, in a shared space, or with his parents? Okay, because some people's parents are up in age, and you know, other cultures outside the United States, or like the United States mindset, or like people who are US citizens, I don't know, whatever, right? The mindset is very independent. Okay, like you turn 18 and you get a certain age, you get a certain job, you move out and you stay out and you do your own thing, but you just visit. Whereas in other cultures, okay, there is more of a collaborative effort to all stay together, keep the money within the family to help build the next person coming up, blah, 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 da, 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 da. Okay. So that's also, and I feel like that's something that needs to be embraced, and that needs to be, needs to be done. Okay. So I would not automatically write off somebody who is living with somebody else. Okay. As long as it's like, it makes sense though. Financially, are they making stuff make sense? Okay. But also be aware, like, are they finessing you, or is this like really a thing? Okay. And I would also say, like, what side of town do they, if they are living like singly, on their own or whatever, apartment, house, whatever, like, what side of town? Like, is it on the nice side of town, or is it like in the hood? Okay. In the slums. We don't want that. Or it's just like, you might just be like, oh yeah, like, I don't have any kids, I live here, it's affordable, I work from home, or my job is up the street, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. Okay, just kind of like be thinking about those things. You don't want to be like interrogating either and doing like a straight up interview. You want to elegantly bring these things up. Okay. The other thing, when it comes to the figuring out how he is as a person, okay, you find out how they feel about children, their viewpoint on plan. And I mentioned that when it came to provide. So there's an aspect of like how they feel, like, do they want children and stuff like that? And like, how do they interact? How do they interact, right, with children, pets, plants, or if they don't have none of that, I hate to say it, but like their machines, like their car, their computer, like anything that's like costs a lot, that needs to stay in operation, right? Uh, and as you get more experience with dating, if you're not that experienced, then you'll understand why I'm saying that, because I'm having a hard time articulating the part, like, okay, if they don't have any of that, figure it out through their machines. Okay, anything that works mechanically, guys are into that. I don't get it that much, but anyway. Secondly, what they do for fun. Figure out what they do for fun and their hobbies. Okay. So, okay, there it is. Okay. See if that's something that's tolerable for you to like deal with. Like, say someone's into cosplaying. Like, is that going to bother you? Eh, Good grief. Okay. Um, See if those hobbies and things that they do, are they tolerable for you? Like, is that something that you can deal with? Because if they're into it and like you can't deal with it and you can't support them, you don't have to be into it yourself. But if you can't find yourself supporting them, that's something to keep in mind. You also want to be aware of their political opinion. However, I wouldn't let that rule you necessarily either, but you just want to know, like, okay, why are they saying the things that they say in that? Okay. Are they super left? Are they super right? Do they think there's no good option? Are they somewhere in the middle? And understand that line. And can you get behind that? And I would not just straight up be asking that question. I would be elegantly bringing that up through, I don't know, maybe you saw something, you bring it up and see what his opinions are. Okay. On a political subject. And then also too with their belief system. Like, are they religious? Are they spiritual? Some of these things you can't just straight up ask. Um, because like there are times where I'll be like, oh, I was thinking about like being home by 10 o'clock because I plan on going to church the next day. Whether that's true or not, I'll just say that. And then they might have a response. And then I might say, like, oh, what church do you go to? They may not even have said that they go to church. They might be like, oh, no, I actually don't go to church. Or the church up the road, or this such and such church. I'll be like, oh, how long have you been going there? You know, that kind of thing. And then see, oh, well, let me visit that church. You may not even necessarily believe in that or whatever. But if they said it, you want to see, you know, if that's true. If they go there, are people coming up to him and saying, oh, hey, hi, how's it going? Or, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, so you get an idea, okay? And then I also wrote down like how clean they are. You can see through their car if they're clean. But some people value their cars more than their homes and their grooming, you know, but you also want to see their home. So their grooming, their car, and their home for sure. And I would be looking to see if like, I'm supposed to be doing my makeup. I cannot talk and do my makeup at the same time. I just realized that. But anyway, see how clean their spaces are and how clean they keep themselves. And then also how they eat. Like, are they always eating Taco Bell and McDonald's? Disgusting. Like, what? If you casually go, for me personally, I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, so if they're always eating a god awful amount of meat, nah, I'm cool off of that. You know, I personally just can't do it, you know? Or is it like, are they willing to eat a healthy meal or be more healthy? It's just, you know, that's just what they stick to. Maybe they're just in autopilot and they just need to explore. Like, are they willing to eat more healthier? Or, but if they're like, no, I just eat this kind of stuff, and they're strict with their unhealthy eating, that should be a deal breaker, because you have to understand he's the provider and you need this is going to sound so crazy. You need the provider to live as long as possible so he can continue to provide for you, right? You don't need him having any health issues where it can prevent him from not working. That would not be good, okay? Especially if you're looking to be you know, fully provided for or just mostly provided for. It doesn't even have to be 100% provided for, right? But just mostly provided for. But yeah, so that's all I have for all of that. And I'm interested to see if anybody has any questions. I know people have been popping in and out of this live. And I think what you can do is like rewind and go back in some of the live. I don't necessarily know how to do that, but I was told that can be done and had been done before in the past on one of my videos. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, so I'm actually putting on makeup pretty late in the day. It's 2:36 right now, currently in the side of the world that I live in, and I am going to be running a few errands. So, but this was on my mind, and I did say in my last posted video that I was going to do a video on vetting. I'm actually going to do a more structured video where I'm going to cut out the extra fluff, because I just feel like sometimes I just don't talk straight, and I like stuff to be straightforward, direct to the point, you know, as best as I could possibly be. I mix my color foundation to get my foundation right, and I just use samples, and that's just to like cut down on costs so I can get other try out other makeups, because if I actually bought every single product, I know that I would be spending like close to $300 a month for makeup and like, or skincare alone. Makeup and skincare, I should say, because your skincare and all that like goes hand in hand. And so like if you ended up, I'm gonna relate this back to what I was just talking about. Say you end up seriously dating someone, and they start questioning like the amount of money that you spend on your beauty care products, you know, within reason, you know, within reason. Okay, you want to be able to use your feminine intelligence. You don't want to be recklessly spending money. Now, if you got it like that for you personally, sure. But to be expecting a guy to spend hundreds of dollars on your, when I say hundreds of dollars, more than, depending on how much they make too. Okay, you have to be thinking reasonably based off how they make, how much money they make. But if they're making less than, I don't know, I don't even want to throw out a number because everybody's situation is different. But if it doesn't make sense, financial sense, then you want to be able to like not think that it is you can't be with him, or the relationship is not going to work. You just you have to use your feminine intelligence, okay, and get creative, or that's where you actually, that's where it's like not going to be a 50-50 relationship. That's where it's going to be like the 80-20. Okay, well, if you're not making money, you don't work at all, maybe you could get some free products or just get samples, or I don't know, maybe not use that product anymore. Like, is it a necessity? Do you have to have that? Hold on. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm watching Kyra too on YouTube in the background, just listening to it. And her makeup and her hair just looks so freaking cute. So freaking awesome. Anyway, I use my fingers to apply my makeup. I'm going to put on blush. Actually, no, I'm going to put on blush later because I'm going to be trying out this new lip stain. And I don't know if this pink blush is going to look nice. So I'm going to skip that. Let me cover my little eyebrow here. Let's see, the lighting is getting different. It's becoming different now. I wish some of y'all had questions about some of the things I was speaking about. Also, too, I'm supposed to keep up this video. I don't know if I want to keep up this video because I realized, oh, I saw that if you do lives, that counts as watch time. And I'm really trying to get my watch time hours up because it starts over every 365 days. So I was really close to getting my watch hours, but I didn't get the 1,000 subscribers, and I was just like, I didn't really care. And now I'm in the energy of actually caring. So yeah, there's that. So I will be coming on, posting more videos like this. But I really don't have too much more to say unless you guys have any questions on anything that I spoke on. I can just go over what I spoke on again before I get off. So I had mentioned that keep in mind that a guy can keep up with the whole facade, okay, become an actor, become something that he is not, and act as if he is something that he thinks that you want, okay? He can do that up to 2 years. I've seen it, it's happened to me. It has happened to me, right? And I don't believe that not saying something is lying, but it is, what's the word for it? It is that. And so for me, that is a red flag and a potential deal breaker. I would also ask questions like, okay, what's like the one thing that you regret, you know? This is like a third, fourth, fifth type of date question, right? What's one thing that you regret that you did in life, you know? And then ask them why, you know? But also remember, like, sometimes guys are really just not that forgiving. You want to look out and see if they are into you, where like they are they consistent, or do you like not hear from them like at all? And I don't mean like, oh, he didn't text me today or whatever. I mean like, does he actively try to figure out when he can see you? Does he start talking about how he can actually provide for you? Does he start talking about how he can protect you? So like, a guy who was really into me, he was actually not financially ready to get married, but the type of person that he is, he was trying to break down his finances. He was trying to figure it out. So just because like a guy keeps showing up doesn't mean that he is marriage material. I'm on live right now. I'll come to you in a second, okay?
I gave him his chicken sandwich.
Okay, awesome. Good job.
I also gave my homework to Miss Joseph.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. I just have my spelling words, so after I do my spelling words, am I free?
Maybe we gotta go to the library, return the library books. Well, I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay. All right. You know, some guys will say like, oh, I live like in a really safe area. You know, I have this type of like armor for protection. You know, they start saying things that's kind of like, why are you saying that? You know, at least at the time where I didn't know any better, I was like, oh, this guy is trying to tell me that he's able to provide for me, or he's trying to make me think he's able to provide for me. Because a guy will say, if he really likes you, right? Just because he really likes you does not mean he's ready to get married. Okay, he may want to, but that doesn't mean he's ready to get married. Because I've been in a situation where it's like that, where he wanted to get married, but like it would have been a trap and I would have been screwed. Okay. You know, and I'm not saying like don't get with somebody who is like looking like who did it and why. When I had mentioned like, you know, don't go based off of looks, especially if you're over a certain age of like 27 or more. You need to be looking at other things. You still need to look for a person that like you can wake up next to, but he does not need to be the finest thing walking. He don't need to be 6'5" in height. You know, he doesn't have to be the most fit guy on earth, you know, anything like that. You need to be looking at other things, okay? Because those things can change. And if he really likes you and he is actually marriage ready, you can highly influence him to do better, okay? If they're really into you, they will be like, you want to be with me? Oh, okay. I know, you know, you can find ways to influence the guy to be more physically fit, okay? To take, you know, to take more care in how they dress, okay? Because that's just one thing. I would not be assessing a guy and being like, oh no, I can't date him because he doesn't dress well or he doesn't know how to dress. Guys, that's not on their mind. They don't care to think like that. Especially like really high intellectual type of men, they don't really care to do that, you know. They're sometimes they think very practical. And I know in the beginning of this video I said, oh, I'm going to be careful with saying guys or men or boys or whatever, and I was not being careful at all. But next time I make this video where I make it more structured, I will be careful in doing that. Or at least the attempt will be there. In my editing, it'll be there. Okay, so this is my little basic makeup. Foundation, mascara. I cover my little eyebrow with the missing patch there. Okay, so this is, I was wearing no makeup before, right? But when a guy says, oh, I don't like women who wear makeup, they don't realize this is makeup. what I just did was makeup, okay? So don't take that literal, whereas I did before, okay? So when I would wear like, you know, eyeshadow and lashes and some hot pink lipstick or some bright, vibrant lipstick or whatever, right? And then they would say that, right? And I'd be like, oh, but because they also see me like this, and I would be thinking like, oh, they just don't like makeup at all. So then I'll be like, well, maybe let me try not wearing makeup around. Let me see. No, they just mean they don't like all the extra vibrant, crazy, wild makeup. Okay. That is something I had to learn. I didn't understand that. I did not understand that. Also, too, I want to say, like, if you have children, okay, you need to find someone that's going to match your energy in that. Okay, so they may, or say you have baggage, okay? It may not be children. I'm not to say that children are baggage, but say, you know, you have baggage. That's just how I'm gonna say it, because that's how people view it, okay? Say you have that going on, some type of baggage going on. You need to find someone else that also has that kind of like a bag, something that equals that baggage. Does that make sense? It may not be totally equal, but somewhere where it's like, you know? And you cannot have crazy icks. You need to learn about feminine intelligence. Really learn about feminine intelligence. Okay. All right. Where's this lip stain I was going to try? I don't know. I got to find it. I'm actually pressed for time. My daughter just got home, and I am going to go run the errands that I need to go run now before 5 o'clock. And I hope this video was helpful. And until my next video.